if there was anything that I could probably put my finger on, it would be some of the things that happen in the background that people don't see when I'm sitting at a board table, or when I'm negotiating a contract for our company. That would be the 2-hour drive that we'd make every day to get our children to a Māori medium education facility that is the very best that I can give them. What they might not see is the technology as an agricultural woman that I deal with, and how I have to make things happen. Even if the Skype doesn't work and everybody thinks Skype is normal, Skype may not be normal, and the super information highway may not get past my farm gate. What they might also not see is because I precede kura kaupapa and kohanga reo by about 5 to 7 years, that I'm actually too old to be a Māori woman leader. And I say that with a bit of tongue in cheek. It's not true, but you know, I'm a generation that has missed out on what is firing up our kids. It's a portion of our kids. I don't see them as obstacles, I just see them as things I have to think about. And I don't use them as an excuse either.
Well, I'm female, Asian and youngish, and all of those are perceived obstacles, I think. And they all come with expectations that I'll behave in a certain way, or that I'll think in a certain way, or that I'm capable of certain things and not capable of certain things. And I think one of the most powerful things when you do have these perceptions is to turn them around, turn them on their head, challenge them. The other thing is that mostly a lot of the obstacle is in our own heads. I mean, it doesn't feel that way often, but I think that if you can, you know, look at it a different way, or you know, turn it around in some way, and not focus on the fact that you're being discriminated against, or and just focus on what makes you stand out, then you know, you can really make a difference.
Obstacles I don't really see as obstacles. They're just, if you see it as an obstacle, then you're just going to stop. You've got to see it as a challenge instead of an obstacle, and figure out how you're going to get around it. And more often than not, certainly in my industry, yes, up the board members are virtually all men, but that's partly because you look at the university percentages of girls doing engineering, there just aren't the 50-50 percentages there, so you're never going to get 50-50 percentages in the industry, in the office. And at work I don't feel at all that there's any discrimination whatsoever. I know for a fact I get paid the same as the other guys who are the same level as me. Maybe that's my company, I don't know. But I don't see any challenge, sort of insurmountable challenges, because of the role models I've got and the training that they're providing me with, and the extra training I'm seeking myself. So it's all, there's always going to be challenges, whatever you want to do, otherwise it would be boring.
I think that you've probably got to be in a position where you can find ways to have conversations with us. And I think somebody said before about the very potent and important role that media has to play. And so certainly by way of an invitation, if there are any discussions you would like to open up with me, that would be great, because I know that we have a very important role to play in society. I think the key thing really, I mean, inside our organisation, you know, we have programs for leaders, you know, throughout our business, and we always insist upon what I call sort of pink and blue thinking, you know, attaching itself to any particular solution we come up with. not a terribly sort of articulate answer for the question, but certainly I guess we're here and we're ready and we're willing and we're able. I certainly inside our organisation say that people must actually derive a position on the basis of merit, but I'm acutely conscious that we need to have balance. So over the course of the last 10 years, I have worked pretty hard to ensure that we have got a 50-50 split in terms of our senior leadership teams, and then flowing through underneath them the same.
I've always been, I'm probably going to get myself in trouble now, but I've always been slightly sceptical of having the whole women's society thing, sticking ourselves out to be different and then expecting to be treated the same as the men to a certain level. I mean, I know that we do need some support in a very male-dominated industry, but it's not so male-dominated anymore. And when I first graduated, when I first got my first job, I was the first girl in the office that wasn't admin. That was over in the UK, that wasn't here. But since then, after I left 3 years later, there were 15 of us in an office of 80. So it was a dramatic increase over just a very short period of time.
Again, I'm going to talk about education. So the recognition that education doesn't end when you leave university, that a company or an organisation plays a very, very big part in the further education of its employees. And this isn't just about sending someone to a training course, because those things, I don't know about you, but those things wear off really quickly. Like, you go there and you feel really, great and powerful, and you're learning all these things. You come home all enthused, and about 2 days later, you're sort of back in your usual job, and not really being able to practice what you've just learned. So it's giving the opportunities for training, then the opportunities for experience, and then also, putting in the time and financial help to enable people to go to conferences or go to meetings and meet other potential collaborators or role models, because that's part of your education as well.
I learnt recently that you cannot change a group of people. You cannot influence a group of people. You can influence and make change with an individual. So I'm going to talk to you as individual people within your organisations, as opposed to the organisations that you're here representing. Some of the key things, I think, for myself is, I talked about be the woman who's empowering and be the woman who wants to lift up and things like that. I think that when you are thinking about who is the best for a job, think about actually your interview process, your scaling process. What are your scoring? What are you scoring? So I'm involved in a farming organisation, and we talk about, our shareholders are all Māori, but we've got to get the best person for the job, and I've said absolutely. So number one, we have to actually create pathways to help our own shareholders and their children be the best for the job. But secondly, how do we score the people who are applying for the job? What are the things that our own people bring into our organisation, and how do we value them? So as individuals within your organisation, just think about some of your own policies and how potentially there are some invisible biases that you're actually not aware of. I missed out on an opportunity recently because the person who got the opportunity, which was a board position, I found out feedback wasn't anything about me, but she was a safe pair of hands. It wasn't actually a gender thing. It was the person they considered was a safe pair of hands. So for me, I was thinking, okay, what is it that you need to know about me that gives you that feeling of security, that I'm a kind of person that you can trust will be making good collective decisions, and that's what governance is all about. It's all collective. You're not on your own. So I thought that was quite interesting as well. Look beyond your own circles. So quite often, and why I was told that it was business suicide to leave Wellington, because all of the contracts come and go at lunchtime on Lambton Quay. So think about who is it that you are choosing from? Who is it that you're not choosing from? Who's missing from the table? How do you attract those people to the table? I was invited to come as a panellist and to represent young Māori women. I said I could do one of those things at one time. I could represent youngish women, good on you, or I could represent Māori women, but as a Māori woman, I am above 23 years of age, which is the median age for a Māori in this country. I am not a young Māori woman. My niece told me at age 19, move over. Your generation had your chance. I was 30. She said, move over. Your generation have actually failed us. So when you're thinking about women who are at the starting blocks, start looking at my daughter who's 11. But think about, who's in your circle and invite them earlier.